Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. I'm here today making this video to give a little more information on my business to hopefully answer some of the questions that I've received. I personally decided to open this work from home network marketing or multi-level marketing business when my children were in elementary school. And I did it because at the time I was working full-time for the government and part-time at a retail store. So basically I was working 10 and 12-hour days, 7 days a week, and a babysitter was telling me all the great things about my kids that was happening, and I honestly just wanted a little part in it. So initially my only goal was to be able to just generate enough income so that I wouldn't have to work my part-time job on the weekend, if that makes sense. But once I got into it, what I found is that after being in business for just 9 months, my organization as a whole had grew to the point to where it was generating more income than I was generating on my full-time job. So with that said, on my 1-year anniversary, I actually retired from the government, and yes, I did retire because I actually started working for the government on work study when I was 16 years old, which means that I went to school part-time and I worked part-time, and even with that, I was still working at night at a restaurant. So you can see I've always been a worker. I've worked 2 jobs since I was 16 years old, but after you have children, things change. You still want the money, but you want the time too. And to be quite honest with you, I had never seen anything before in my life that would allow me to have time and money at the same time. And you're allowed to have that because of the residual income that's acquired through this company, not through the the usual you go to work you get paid, if you don't go to work you don't get paid thing. Because we provide essential services that people use every day in their home, every single month when they pay their bill, I get a check. So that was kind of cool. So like I said, after my first year in business, I retired from the government, and then after my second year in business, I walked away from my part-time job as well. And then I got really crazy because I decided to homeschool my children. I withdrew them from school, and I found out very quickly that there is something called too much quality time. So after a year, I sent their behinds back to school, and then it was my goal to just be with them and volunteer as much as possible. And I'm very, very happy to say that I got to be the #1 volunteer at the school, and it's only because of this opportunity, because it allowed me to still make money without actually being on a job. Because when people, let's just take gas and electricity for example. Nobody's going to stop paying gas and electricity. They're going to pay it forever. And as long as they pay their bill, you get paid. Now, mind you, it did start off slow for me. My first check was $17, and that was just for the first couple of customers that I acquired. But over a period of time, I got paid for thousands of customers every single month, and I didn't have to do anything to get it. So that gave me the freedom to be able to do what I wanted to do, and it gave me the money to still be able to take care of my kids as a single mom. Now, they're getting a little older. Christopher just went into middle school, and my daughter just turned into a teenager. Those of you who have, teenagers, you already know they've got to the point to where they don't like me half the time, and I don't like them either, so it really doesn't matter. So, now that they're a little older, I find other things to do to kind of keep me occupied and to keep me busy. But I know that this is a fabulous opportunity, especially, and I don't mean to be prejudiced, but especially, I think, for women who juggle so much and you need to have time and money. Because if you're anything like my mother, I remember in elementary school, my mother never came to the school. And it wasn't because she didn't want to, she couldn't. Because my mom went to school and she worked. And so, of course, naturally, I followed in her footsteps, and I did the exact same thing. I worked and I worked and I worked, and I paid a babysitter to raise my kids. And honestly, by the time they got to elementary school, I didn't want it anymore. You know, I mean, I did so much just to be able to have my daughter. I had to go through 3 separate procedures. I was told when I was 12 years old I wasn't going to be able to have kids. You know, after I had her, the good Lord blessed my womb, and 2 years later I was sick as a dog, went to the hospital, they said you're pregnant. I said, how'd that happen? And then I had my son. So both of them have been a blessing to me, but I honestly was angry that I couldn't be with them as much as I could. I was angry. So in the beginning it was a lot of hard work, because I was still working a full-time job, I was still working a part-time job, and then I added this business. It was absolutely crazy. But I wasn't looking at the short-term pain. I was looking at the long-term gain. So that's what I was excited about. And now what I do is I help other people who are interested in having something like this for themselves and their families. And I teach them and mentor them on how they can have it all too. Whatever all means to you. You know, whether it means just being able to, you know, generate enough income to take your kids to special places on the weekends, or whether, you know, I mean, extra just $1,000 a month for most people I know would change their lives, change their zip code, change their rides, make their phone stop ringing. It's so many things, and in my opinion, that is something that is very, very easily obtained with, you know, not a whole lot of back-breaking effort. And once it's there, it stays there. It doesn't leave. So I really just wanted to take the time to come in now to answer some questions, because I did post a presentation or an overview of the company that I have a business with and what it does. So I just wanted to explain to you what it does for me and how it works in my life, and maybe that can help you see how it can work for you and how it can work for you in your life. And it'd be my pleasure to serve you and help you to make this work for you and your family. So that's it. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.